welcome to the NT Prep Preview. I'm sports writer Brandon LaChance. This is sports editor Kevin Chlum, sports writer Jared Bell. This week we're going to talk about Week 7 football. We're also going to touch on some other local athletics. On the gridiron, it was mostly a rough week for our teams this week, for our local teams. Not a lot of wins, but we did have some teams come through, including Marquette stayed undefeated.
Yeah, Marquette. Wasn't sure if they were going to play or not because North Shore Country Day had forfeited the week before because they had too few players due to injury. They did play, and Marquette rolled to a 49-0 victory. The game did not even get completed. There were 7 minutes left. There was some bad weather, so they just decided to stop it. Fieldcrest won their 5th game in a row last week, and River Valley got back on the winning track, and they got their 5th win, so they're eligible for the playoffs. So Bureau Valley rolled to a pretty easy win against Morrison. So a lot of, some teams did win last week, but not too many.
It's a 16th straight win by Marquette against a conference opponent, and I have to ask, how is that River Valley bandwagon coming out? Is it getting more and more full?
I think a lot of people should be jumping out at this point. I mean, playoff eligible, just like I said was going to happen.
And is there room?
Yeah, there's still some spots. They should be filling up fast.
I might have to be jumping on that bandwagon too, but some of our local teams did win. A lot of our teams kind of struggled. A lot of our core teams. Some of them had really close losses though, as far as LP, Mendota, St. Bede, however, did not. They got crushed by Rock Ridge in a game that really was a good test for them, and kind of now they know where they got to be. Amboy lost, Princeton lost. Did we mention Hull too?
Yeah.
They had a great upset win. Upset to us, obviously the team, they thought it was a big win that gets them right back in the playoff picture.
Just to let you know, I picked Hull to win.
Yes, you did. Yeah, the new guy is probably the smartest person on the staff.
You know, I was totally wrong about St. Bede.
Yeah.
Week 7, heading into next week, features plenty of playoff implications. Only a couple weeks left in the season. What are the big games coming up?
Yeah, there's only 3 weeks left in the regular season, and the biggest game is our game of the week with St. Bede traveling to Hull. Like I said, Hull's win last week was a huge win for the Red Devils because it gets them to 3 wins with Princeton on the schedule. You figure that 4 wins is pretty much a guarantee. So they have to win this week or next week to get to 5-4, at worst, maybe 6-3, and get in the playoffs. So it's a big game for Hull. For St. Bede, they're just trying to get to 4 wins, or get to 5 wins. They tried that last week against Rock Ridge, came up short. In addition to the playoffs, it's St. Bede, it's Hull, it's a big rivalry. Probably not as big as it was, maybe 20, 30 years ago when these teams used to play, but it still has a lot on the line, especially this year since it's later in the season. Last year they played week 2. You also have Mendota, who's 2-4. They're 1 loss away from being eliminated from the playoffs, but they have 3 winnable games here at the end of the season, so they need to get back on the winning track this week at Rock Falls.
Well, like I mentioned before, River Valley and Fieldcrest are both playoff eligible, but you need to get that 6 win to guarantee a spot. I mean, either way, they should be in with the 5, but it would be nice for them to get the 6th and guarantee it. Bureau Valley is 2-4, but they still have a shot. Their last 3 games are winnable games, I think, and I think that's pretty much wraps up the playoff picture.
The thing with BEV is they started with a win over Hull, and going into last week, the next 4 opponents that they lost to were all 4-1. So it's tough to kind of get a read on BEV because it's such a difficult start to their schedule. It definitely it's evening out now for them. They're having some easier teams, so hopefully they can finish strong.
All right. Also this week, boys and girls golf are heading into the postseason. And now it's time for the best segment in all the land, the NT Prep Preview Powerhouse Players of the Week. Roll the tape, Alicia.
Well, guys, our first Powerhouse Player of the Week is a newbie to the Powerhouse Players of the Week. It's the first time she's ever made it. It's Bureau Valley senior setter Sydney Laban. That's a tongue twister, senior setter Sydney. Last week, she had 106 assists for the week in 7 matches played by the Storm. 2 of them were conference wins. They also went 3-2 over the weekend at the Sterling Tournament. So a good week for her and a pretty good week for the Storm.
Our next guy, he's been on here before, but he's slacking off this week. Only 5 touchdowns this week. He had 6 last week, but I guess I'll still put him on here. Fieldcrest sophomore quarterback Drew Barth. He threw for 249 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran for 9 yards and scored.
Okay. Guess I'm new to the show, so I don't know if Princeton's Tyler Marvin has been on here before, soccer player.
Starter Marvin, he's been on there before.
Has he? All right. Well, I can see why. This week he had 2 hat tricks and 2 wins for Princeton soccer, including 6 out of the 12 goals that they scored. So thanks for watching the NT Prep Preview. Check us out next week at www.newstrib.com.
/.
Sports.